What is going on, everyone? I'm going to share with you 5 baits that I have on the deck of my boat is like must-haves in the month of February, because February is a great season. It's winter-based here in the mid United States region, but it also has those elements of spring, pre-spawn. So you kind of get that transition in February where you can have really cold frigid temperatures, and you really have to lock down on those wintertime patterns. But then you can have those warming trends that really make those fish get up shallow and get that transition into the spring style bites. And these 5 baits I use these year in, year out to cover those changes. And the first one, by far, it's taken the world by storm in the past 5 to 10 years. And you truly, if your tournament or your fun fishing allows you to be able to do it, you need to be throwing an Alabama rig. An Alabama rig in the winter is a staple, especially in like I said, the region of the United States, the central region of the United States. An Alabama rig is just a fish catcher in the winter in pre-spawn times, because those fish are gorging up on shad. They're round balls of shad, and an Alabama rig works great to just mimic that. And this is one of my favorites. This is the Hog Farmer umbrella rig. And the reason I like the Hog Farmer umbrella rigs is, one, they use the camo wire. And I have seen days where the camo wire truly gets you more bites than, say, a silver shiny wire. And that's a must-have in my boat, because I've actually experienced that. I've actually been fishing with someone, and either they had the shiny wire and I had the camo, or vice versa, and the camo wire does get you more bites. So the Hog Farmer also has premium components, the swivels, the clips that they use. Everything is strong premium components, and that's why I like the Hog Farmer. This right here this is actually the one I used the last day of the Toyota Series Championship, because it was 2 days and then they make a cut for the 3rd day. And on the first day I only caught 6 pounds, and I was looking at a lot of fish on forward facing sonar and I couldn't get them to bite. And the second day I brought in 19.9 the second day, made a huge comeback in the standings, not quite enough to make the cut, but this was the exact rig I was using. Had 2 dummies at the top per the regulations, and then Berkeley Fusion heads with shock waves and rage swimmers. Just a good kicking style swim bait. You really can't go wrong with the Alabama rig in February. Now I'm gonna totally change it up. So an A rig is big, gaudy, great for drawing fish out. But one of the problems with the A-rig is it's not great for getting around and in cover. And if you've got like a big brush pile that fish are sitting down in the base of it, or if you've got a bluff bank that you are getting right up against the bluff bank, or underneath the marina dock, those places that cover is that A-rig is not a good option for that. And that's where I lean on this next lure. For February, you need to have a spoon in your boat. The mid region of the United States, like I said, is a shad forage wintertime technique, and a spoon is one of those great baits to trigger those shad eaters into eating. And with the treble hook, you can see those fish on your forward facing sonar or your down scan 2D traditional sonar. You can see them below the boat, and you can put it right in front of their face and just bounce it up and down in front of their face, and they will eat it. So a spoon, this is a War Eagle 1/2 ounce. I like the 1/2 ounce best, because it does, in February when it's cold, it does fall a little bit slower than, say, a 7/8 or a 3/4, a bigger size. So the 1/2 ounce standard silver War Eagle spoon is phenomenal in these winter times of year. Now we're going to transition to kind of getting up on the banks. When you are on a body of water that has crayfish bite, and those fish are going to be gravitating to clay banks and riprap banks like bridges and stuff like that, you can't go wrong with, this is the Spro rock collar or the original wiggle wart. They're two peas in a pod. They're really similar. If you are an old school guy, the wigglewort has put more fish in the boat than most lures, and it's a staple in especially the Table Rock area and places like that. This right here is just a proven winner when it comes to the February bite. But Spro has taken it up a notch. They've made the bait a little more durable beals, a little more color schemes as far as translucents and stuff like that, and more premium quality components. So you're getting better split rings, you're getting gamakatsu hooks, you're getting better components with the Sprawl rock crawler. So you need to get these right here if you are, you know, loving to fish those transition banks where crayfish are coming out and bass are sitting there waiting to get them. So that's the number 3 choice for me. But number 4, the Mega Bass Jerkbait. This right here is the Vision 110 Plus 1 Junior, and any Mega Bass Jerkbait this time of year can really get the job done. They have so many different colors, so you can really fine tune and match the hatch in whatever fishery you're fishing in. Especially if you hook a shad, take the time to pull your cell phone out, take a picture of that shad, and when you go back to tackle store, match your Mega Bass Jerkbait up to that color, because it truly can make all the difference in getting more bites in a day and having less fish follow your bait. And with the introduction of forward-facing sonar that most people are using now to catch fish in the February month, this right here is another reason to be throwing the Mega Bass, because it allows you to target those fish, keep that bait suspended in their face, and a Mega Bass Vision 110 is by far one of the most popular February baits year in, year out, because it works. Next bait, as you can see, these 4 baits were all moving baits of some kind. You're constantly looking for fish, because February is not a time of year to really find a fish scattered here or there or here or there like you do in the spring and the fall. February being that kind of winter transition in the spring, that season is best for finding groups of fish. So that's why 4 of these 5 baits are moving baits, because you can cover water, you can look for those fish, and you can keep it moving. But there are times that you need to slow down, and that's why I just brought for number 5, the old rig box. Carolina rig, Texas rig, you can't beat it. Anywhere in the central United States, you can't beat just dragging an old rig on the bottom, on points, on transition banks, really humps, anywhere that you can think of that a fish might get up on during this transitional time of year. You truly can't beat a Carolina rig and a Texas rig, because you can throw so many different variety of soft plastics and you can give them different looks, and it's nice and slow and allows you to focus on fish that maybe are pressured and maybe don't want to chase something, or maybe a cold fronts that hit them hard. This right here is what I like to go to. And for a Carolina rig, I keep it really simple. You know, I just do the standard plastic or glass beads. I do the long cylinder weights if I'm fishing like Bugs Island. We have a lot of mussel bids and stuff like that, or jagged rock bids. You know, places that are going to chew up that connection to your swivel, because you're going to put the weight, the bead, and then your swivel. And if you've got a longer cylinder weight like this, it allows you to have like a protector on that intersection going into that swivel. And then on the back of that, I just use standard Superline Gamakatsu hooks. I'll keep a variety of different sizes in here, from 3/0 to 5/0, just because Superline hook has been around for a long time. I mean, I remember buying them at Walmart years ago, and the best part about the Superline hooks are they're super strong, so that once you get the fish hooked, it doesn't matter how much they come up and shake their head. They're not going to bend that hook out. They can wallow all they want to. That hook is going to remain strong and keep its shape throughout the whole fight. and they're sticky sharp. So Gamakatsu Superline hooks, that's just a staple in my boat for Texas rig and Carolina rig. You really can't beat it. Now that I've gone over the 5 these are like the 5 that you really need to have on your boat for February, I'm gonna throw in 2 more, and 2 more that I feel like you need to have for these special occasions. So if you're going to a body of water that is loaded with rock, and I mean lots of rocky banks, lots of bridges, lots of rocky transitions, you really need to throw a jig. A jig just comes through that rock so good. You can keep it down there. And a lot of times those fish will actually get up in those rocks. And you know, if it's like bigger boulders on a point or whatever, those fish will get down in that stuff and kind of just hunker down. And a jig just slowly gets down there and works over their head. And crayfish are plentiful in most rock formed lakes. So if you're fishing a lake, it's loaded with rock, you need to be throwing a jig. And this is the Missile flip out jig with the chunky D, just a crayfish color. This is a Bama crawl color. You really can't beat just some kind of crayfish color jig on those rocky impoundments. But then you get those impoundments that don't have as much rock, and what they usually have is a bunch of grass. And Guntersville being one that I truly love to go to every year. I'm looking forward to going to it this year, but it's chock full of grass. It doesn't have a lot of rock. It has a few bridges and a few places where the banks, the channel swings up against the bank and it'll make it a little rocky. But for the most part, like 90-something% of the lake is full of grass. And when you go to those places, you need to have you a lipless crankbait. And this right here is the Spro Aruka shad. Crayfish red color is a staple in February. If you go to a grass fishery, I promise you, if you tie this on and go fishing in an 8-hour day, you're gonna find fish and you're gonna catch them, because this is just a staple this time of year. So keep it very simple. These selections, I'm giving you the stuff that I've been using for years. I know forward facing sonar is making us change up a little bit in our game. Like, I had one of the best sacks I had not too long ago, and that was using a new Missile Spunk shad on forward facing sonar. So that's obviously not in here, but these are the lures that for 15 plus years of my fishing career, these have been proven winners. Year in, year out, in February. I still have these on the deck of my boat, but forward facing sonar is obviously changing the game a little bit, but these right here can still get the job done. So keep these in mind when you go out and get your tackle order for February and go catch them.